It's the best type of day today. It's new bike day. Over the last 3 to 4 months, I've slowly been building up this new bike, the Bombtrack Audax. So in this video we are going to take a closer look at the bike. This isn't going to be a full review. I will do that once I've spent a bit more time on the bike. Just for an FYI, I'm not sponsored by Bombtrack and I brought everything in this video myself so I can say what the hell I like. I've built this bike up to be a mile munching, very light off-road but mainly a road bike setup, all while being able to carry everything I need. A bike that I can sit on for days at a time and crunch through 250, 300 mile days, while also still being able to just go out for a couple of hours and smash 50 miles out here and there. So let's take a look at the bike, shall we? So first things first is the frame set. It's called the Audax. Bombtrack do this frame in an aluminium or a steel version. This is the steel version in their extra large size. I think we should just take a moment to admire the paint job on this bike because I'm a big fan. Okay, that's enough of that. The frame has multiple mounts for racks, extra water bottles, also top tube mounts for a bolt-on top tube bag. The frame is using a T47 BV. Yay, another standard. Although this frame is an externally routed frame, it does actually have an internal routing option for a dynamo light with a little section to attach the rear light. Can't see myself using that myself, as I think I would have to rewire the light to be able to fit the cable through the frame, but it's a nice little feature. The cable routing on this frame, like I said, is external and using 4 metal pieces that clamp together which bolt into the frame. If I'm honest, these were pretty fiddly to get all the cable in and then tighten. I think they should have just stuck with the standard cable guides, like on the chainstays, and just use cable ties to attach them. The fork is full carbon with internal routing for the front brake with more mounting bolts. Unfortunately, no internal routing for the dynamo on this fork, which would have been nice. It's through axle, front and rear, and flat mount disc brakes, and apart from that, as you can see, it's a very simplistic type of bike. The wheels are my trusty carbon wheels that I already previously owned. On the rear, a Reynolds AR41, and on the front is my very old Reynolds Assault built onto an SP Dynamo hub. The tyres currently on these wheels are Schwabe G1 Bites in 40mm. These are not going to be the tyres that are staying on, as this is obviously going to be a more road bike setup and will probably be swapped out for a similar tyre, the G1 Speed in 30mm, but I just left these on for now. But doesn't this bike look good with tan sidewalls? In terms of what this bike can take in tyre size, you can use this as a more gravel bike if you like. According to Bombtrack specs, you can run this bike with up to 50mm tyres on the front with a 650B rim and a 47mm tyre on the rear also with a 650B rim. If you want to run this bike with 700C rims though, specs say 35mm max, but as you can see I have 40mm tyres in there with no problem, so there is still a little bit of wiggle room. Moving on to the group set, starting off with the brakes. I've moved back to Shimano after years of frustration of living with SRAM now on the Sonda, so I've put some Ultegra 80/20 shifters with 80/70 flat mount calipers and 160mm rotors front and rear. Just setting these up and riding them briefly, they just worked and felt great, just how I remember the Shimano feeling. Gearing on this bike was going to be slightly different with a more traditional compact setup. However, I decided just in case if I wanted to use this bike on some off-road missions in the future, the GRX 2x setup would probably be the best option. So the crankset is the GRX 810, 172.5mm crank length with the 4831 chainrings. With a 1132-105 cassette. I've gone with the 1132 cassette over the 1134 here just because I wanted that closer spacing between each gear, as I'm going to be riding this as a road bike more. But if I ever want to run 1134 I can, as the rear mech is also GRX 810 and also the front mech is also GRX 810. So really it's pretty much a GRX 810 2x setup, apart from the shifters, they're the Ultegras. Moving on to the cockpit, the saddle is a Physique Antares R7, I have no idea how you actually pronounce that, and the seat post is a Dida Zero. However, this will probably be getting changed because being tall as I am, I need a lot of seat post, and this 350mm post is right on the limit, so this will probably be getting changed in the future to a slightly longer one. The stem is currently a 110mm Ritchie stem, however after the first couple of rides this is likely to be changed to a 115 or a 120mm stem. I'm not 100% sure, I'll ride it a bit and I'll just do a bit of experimenting to find out which one fits me the best, but at the moment it's got 110 on. With the bars, I got a little bit carried away and forgot I was building a simple yet functional bike, and may have gotten a little carried away and found these carbon aero bars from Ribble, the Ribble level 3 carbon bars, 44 centimeters wide. So now we've got some blingy carbon bars on there. And the coolest part of the whole bike is this Cianelli top cap. Just look at that. Riding this for the first time, I was reminded of the feeling of riding a track bike for the first time. Now if you haven't ridden a track bike, then let me try and explain. Track bikes are fast, and this bike did feel fast, but that's not the reason it felt like a track bike. Track bikes are also really fun to dive into corners and really just chuck the bike around. And that's what this bike felt like. I think the mixture of the geometry being quite road-like and also a very high bottom bracket because it's really a gravel bike, it just felt really fun to just play around with. The bike feels much more like your traditional road bike with the positioning, quite a bit more aggressive, especially compared to the Sonda gravel bike, which is one of the reasons why I never really used it for road riding, as it was a little bit too upright for me. So the bike feels fun, it feels much more like a road bike, but the steel frame makes the bike feel smooth and comfortable to ride. I think because it's technically designed around a gravel bike, it having a higher bottom bracket is what makes it a bit more playful and fun. But of course, being a steel frame is not going to ever be the lightest bike. I don't have any scales to weigh this bike, but I would estimate between 11 kilograms to 12 kilograms, maybe more, maybe less. I will get some scales in the future. But it didn't feel at all sluggish while riding it. But it's also not going to be the lightest bike in the world to get you up them climbs. Bombtrack claim the medium frame is 2.4 kilograms with the fork being around 500 grams. So you're starting around 3 kilograms just for the frame set, which isn't particularly light. But I'm not trying to build the lightest bike here, I'm trying to build a workhorse to cover massive miles in a day while also staying comfortable on the bike, while also still a playful bike. And to be honest, first impressions of that is exactly what I wanted. It's playful, it's fast, and it's a lot of fun to ride while also still feeling really, really comfortable and a smooth ride. So there we have it. There's a first look at the new bike, the Bombtrack Audax. I have some big rides planned for this year, so I will return to do a full review of this bike in the future once I've put in some serious hours and miles on it. But if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, and until next time, keep smiling, enjoy the adventure. Peace!